this is not as insightful as we're making it sound, but if they lose, it will be because they didn't win enough games. It will be
Yeah,
because
I
they
mean,
lost to too
yeah,
many other teams in the
pretty
group,
much.
and there are too many teams in the group that did better than them. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Salt Mine. This is Season 4, Episode 14. It's the number that comes after 13. I got that one. We got the full squad here
Let's
today.
go.
TDS, Slayer, Quax, and myself, Gordo. And we're going to do a little playoff props episode, a little playoffs preview to talk about what teams we think are going to make playoffs, what teams we think aren't going to make playoffs, what the standings say about these things coming into week number 8. So, for those who don't know, we have matchups on Friday, and then we have matchups on Monday as well to squeeze in the whole tournament by the end of this year. So, before our next episode, there will be 2 more matches played, and they will be the final 2 rounds played in the regular season. So, we will also have a playoffs draw next Tuesday night, which will give us information that we will then use to do a full playoffs preview next week, at least in theory. So, with that being the case, I want to talk about these groups, but first things first, how was everybody's week? How's everybody's time casting the matches last week, and how's everybody feeling as we start to wind down the regular season?
As we're about to reach the best point of the season, when we reach playoffs and we just see everyone just flashing against each other and the teams that never screamed finally screaming.
You good?
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good since the last time I was here. I guess it's been a little bit of a minute, but
Yeah, welcome back,
my peak
Yeah.
performer stake is holding up at least. They have not lost a single game since I made that proclamation. So
Yeah,
we'll get more to that later, though.
Okay.
That entire series was absolutely wild. I feel like the the insanity level raises every single week. Like, you go in and you cast a series and it goes crazy and you think nothing's gonna top that. Next week it tops that, you say the same thing, and here we are. So I'm that gets me just really excited for the last week, because I feel like, obviously there are do or die matchups in some areas, but then there's also, I feel like there's a chance that some other teams who are potentially, walked into playoffs say screw it, maybe play some of their subs, maybe play some crazy stuff as well. So we could see some interesting stats prop up for the last week. I always feel like the last week is both the most clench and everyone is, try-harding to get those last few games in, and then simultaneously the most unserious, because for the teams that already are in, they don't give a fuck. Like, they'll...
Yep. I do encourage anybody who's tuned in, if I can convince even one player, please give at least a little bit of a fuck, both for the integrity of the rest of the group, and also we do all pro, so we would like to give out all-star awards are based on regular season.
You know what? I'll quickly bring a shout out here. I'll say do what Briarcliff is doing, because they are 0-14 I think right now, and they are still playing
14
They're 2-14.
Yeah, they are still playing all their matches, even though they are more than likely extremely out of playoffs, and they are still playing. So please do the Briarcliff and end your games. Just play them out. It's going to be good experience anyway, and people will remember you to a certain degree. So do it.
Yeah, no, I encourage everybody, play out your games. Please don't sub yourself out just because you're already locked playoffs, already eliminated. But I don't know, it's going to happen. So it's something that I factored in. So I spent a lot of time today digging through the current records, what matches are left to be played, and what kind of certain scenarios are going to be for playoffs. So I'll do my best to drill through those in rapid succession as we talk group by group, and then we can pick up whatever we think is interesting as we go through there. So let's kick things off with Zaun. We'll go bottom to top this time around. We started with Demacia last week. So Zaun, one of the really interesting groups. Nobody has locked playoffs in this group yet, partially because a lot of the top teams still have 3 more games to play rather than 2. Ole Miss versus Goonstar is playing as we speak, as we record in the background. Pretty sure that game... Again, if we're just talking about who's going to make playoffs rather than what exactly your seed is going to be, which I think is the more interesting conversation to have right now, because the playoff draw going to have a huge impact on everything regardless of your seed. If we're just talking about making playoffs versus not, Ole Miss and Pulse and Gooners both very, very likely to make playoffs, but neither locked. Briarcliff Chargers are 0-7. They're out of contention. Oklahoma Christian is 1-5. They're out of contention. And Cupid Esports is 2-4, and they still have to play Goonstar. So they're very close to out of contention, though not quite mathematically out of things yet. So that leaves us with 6 teams. Ole Miss, St. Clair, and Pulse and Gooners have 5 wins apiece. They just need to not crash out. If you get to 6 wins, you should lock playoffs. At least one of Ole Miss and Pulse and Gooners are going to do that right here tonight. So it's very likely that all 3 of them make it, but none are mathematically locked. And then that comes down to the remaining teams, the 3-win teams, Ember Foxes, Clown Gaming, and Skibbity Looks Maxers.
Yeah.
The Skibbity Looks Maxers over there. I feel like they are the most, what is it called? The most, forgot that reference. What is it? The game. I forgot. Like the game that broke internet during COVID. I'm forgetting it.
Among Us?
Yes.
Sus.
No, but the intruder. Yeah, I think it is intruder.
Imposter.
Yeah, the most imposter-looking team, but they actually did it.
Oh, dude, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a little mathematical probability that's gonna blow your guys' mind when we get there later.
Okay.
Nobody's ready for this.
Okay. I will say, like, from the teams that are remaining, I feel like I actually like on paper how close the race is, specifically between Skibbity, Clown, and Ember Foxes, because like tiny margins separate these teams. And like Ember Foxes are currently ranked 4th at the moment because their game record is positive. So they've got the best like win-loss record statistically at the moment, but then you look at who Ember Foxes actually have to play, and they have to play Pulse and Gooners, which will probably result in a loss. And then they have to play Skibbity Looks Maxers. And I think if Skibbity can win that series, on top of them being able to get the bye, it should mean their chances significantly go up to, if not immediately get in, probably get at least into a tiebreaker contention. Because I feel like that's something that we also have to consider. Is there a chance that like ties happen, Gordo? If so, like
yes.
What happens?
Yes.
Yeah. So first of all, it's actually great call out there, Quax. I should probably have said this at the top. So ACL tiebreakers are by game record, then by head-to-head. So
got it.
Game record.
So then
first.
They would win the head-to-head to Ember Foxes, and then they would basically,
but not to Clown.
Well, so and neither of those head-to-heads matter unless they're tied in game win differential.
Yes,
so,
very rare.
Which is, and that's right up at the standings. If you go to the sheet, by the way, next to game record, you have your game differential. So having, you only go to head-to-head if you're tied on game differential, and that's something that will continue to change over the course of your last 2 matches. You know, if both teams have 2 matches left to play, then game differential can swing by 8. So it's really hard to make hard and fast predictions about how game differential is going to play out. And that's why I say, you know, even these 5-0 teams like Ole Miss and Pulse and Gooners, if they totally crash out and they just go 0-4, and then one of these teams with like a +1 game differential goes 4-0, you can collapse that gap really, really, really fast. So it's just unlikely. So that's why I try not to get too in-depth about like what the game differential is likely to be. But as far as tiebreaker scenarios, I think you're probably right there, Quax. So Clown Gaming plays against Briarcliff on Friday. They'll probably win that to get up to 4 wins. If they can upset St. Clair, if they can upset St. Clair and get to 5, that will probably get them into playoffs.
It's over.
Yeah, assuming that they don't, they will tiebreak probably the winner of Ember Foxes and Skibbity Looks Maxers, because Skibbity already has 4 losses. They have a bye on Friday. And then Ember Foxes plays Goonstar, so they will probably lose that as well. So it's probably going to come down to Ember Foxes and Skibbity. The winner will get to 4 wins, and will then force a tiebreaker with Clown Gaming. I think that's probably where we end up. And then their game differential between those teams all very close, by the way.
Do tiebreakers happen on the Monday of, or when are those?
Well, so they won't even be played. They'll be determined by game differential and then by head-to-head. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even think we have there's even 4th, 5th, 6th string tiebreakers about like game percentage and stuff.
Without even
so it's
they really do not want extra games.
So it's I don't think I don't even think we have a thing in the rules about playing extra games. They'll find something to break the tie on.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, the thing is that here the decision is going to be between, or the fourth place, it's going to be between the two after the first matchup, right? Because either Skibidi wins and they keep themselves alive, or and Ember Foxes are out, or Ember Foxes win and they keep themselves alive and they are out. Like it's between one of the two and Clown, because
unless
neither
Ember Foxes upset Goonstar, in which case
I
they
just
can
saw that. Yep, I tuned it. We'll be periodically updating it as the episode goes along. Like we'll be in Demacia completely away from all of Zaun and be like, oh hey, just a heads up, guys. Ole Miss did it. Then again, Ole Miss have their main squad, whereas Pulsing Gooners are running XU mid, Limo, and another sub.
There's a third sub? Oh jeez.
I thought there was.
No, I think they're playing with their roster. It's just that the AD carry has a different name.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is it
fucking Aaron?
Yeah, it's just Aaron with a different name.
Yeah, it's
Aaron being Aaron.
Like he had like it's like Bees or something like that. The name, but it's Aaron.
It's VZ.
Yeah.
I do. I first of all, going if we want to tie this conversations into the matches that were streamed last week. Obviously, St. Clair looks very good. I thought Flocon, whichever
he had
one.
a master
Apologies.
class.
He had a disgusting way game for
especially.
sure. Yeah. They are almost locked for playoffs. They're one of the 5-win teams, which will be nice. I will say, do need to be careful. They have to play Ole Miss and Clown to close out the season. So there is a reality where if they lose badly to both those teams and Clown goes on some sort of heater run with their own games, it would get close, but I'm going to deter that option because the game score difference between Cloud Gaming and St. Clair right now is 9. So the only way that they could tie with Cloud Gaming on game score, on record, doesn't matter because the game score, it's simply impossible for you to make up that much. I think even if Cloud Gaming 2-0 both their matchups and St. Clair 0-2s both their matchups, it's still not enough for them to catch up.
No,
so I think the scenario that would need to happen, and I haven't done the math this far down, so I apologize for failing you all. But if so St. Clair could drop out both series 0-2, so they drop 4 in their game differential. Clown Gaming, of course, reaps the benefits of that. They could beat Briarcliff and St. Clair to go up to 5. And then in theory, Ember Foxes could upset Goonstar and take down Skibidi, and then they could move up to 5. And then we've got a 3-way tie where maybe somebody else can kind of sneak in there. That would be the only way I can really think of it happening. But it would be tough.
Clown can't get to 5. I thought Clown can only get to 4.
No, Clown can get to 5.
They could beat Briarcliff and St. Clair and be 5-3.
Oh, okay. Sorry, different.
Here's my
5s.
question here, though, because I was looking at the game differential as well. So if Clown 2-0s both series, they go 4 games. They get 11. And if St. Clair loses both, they get 0-4. They are at 10 and they would be at 10 and 5. So technically, wouldn't they have more wins? And that would count. That would be.
For seeding, for sure. Yeah. I think you're right. I think even in that 3-way tiebreaker scenario, I think St. Clair kind of come out on top.
Yeah, because the lowest they can get is +4 game difference, and the highest Clown can get is +3.
Okay. So
I get what you're saying.
So it is the stat game difference. I thought the plus win, the extra win would matter more there, but okay, I get it.
Yeah, it's differential, not percentage. Percentage comes in after head-to-head. So they would have to if they were if they were in a circle of suck to do the he beat me, I beat him, he beat the other guy kind of deal. Then you would have to go to game differential, and they all tied on game differential. I don't think that's going to happen here. I think
which is a good thing, by the way, because
you don't want
it
to
would be bad. It would be bad if the 11-8 Clown Gaming team got in over the 10-6 St. Clair team just because they played less games. They had less opportunities to win single-handed, single victory games. So so St. Clair's pretty comfortable. The only scenario that things get, I've basically talked myself into locking them playoffs because the only team that can really jump them.
I think you're right. I think they are basically locked. I didn't come in with that understanding, but I think you're right. They're so far ahead in game differential. I know I just did a whole rant about how much you can collapse game differential in 2 matches. I don't know if you can collapse it that much. The fact that Ole Miss, St. Clair, and Goonstar are at +8, +8, and +9, I think means that they're the 3 that are through. It really comes down to who between
Yeah.
Ember Foxes, Clown, and Skibidi are going to make it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Similar group outlook to a group we'll talk about later, if I am familiar with, or at least maybe vibe wise. Okay,
Maybe
never mind.
maybe I have some secrets. All right.
Yeah, you
that's
could also. Who knows what Gordo's cooking? He's
True,
just
true.
teasing us.
Yeah. Anything else about Zaun? Otherwise, we can move on to Piltover here.
No. I don't
Yo,
think
I
there's
stand
more.
with Piltover. I'm just saying for arcane spoilers. Anyway,
Oh, wow,
fuck Zaun,
alright.
let's move on.
All right, that was
I
a
have never watched
Quax
her
staking
so I
a
don't know.
claim on
Staking a
apartheid
claim.
here. That's
one more thing I would say about Zaun is that this group illustrates the point that I was trying to make weeks ago that like be careful crowning teams playoff squads when they really with their strength of schedule is a thing. Like Clown Gaming is the biggest result of that because like I think Clown was like riding high. They won that big series on stream. They were like technically at the top of the group. Everyone felt good about them, and then unfortunately they had to like play the rest of the top of the group, and now they're fighting for a playoff spot. So
I still think
Yep.
I Clown's still my pick to make it for what it's worth.
I would
Yeah.
pick them too. I'm just
I
saying
think,
like
I'm
I think they have a
picking Skibidi.
realistic shot at 5 wins. Like they could
Wait,
beat
Quack
St.
is actually
Clair.
going Skibidi?
I am. You're right. Yeah.
Okay.
I can vibe with it.
I genuinely think that not only do I think that Skibidi and it kind of sucks that I'm rooting for this team despite the fact that have we streamed any of their games by the way from Aegis?
I haven't. We haven't done.
It's all
these.
mine
think
is
we have-
we have not.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So
Sorry,
I'm
guys.
rooting for a team that I have like not actually watched before, but I feel like them making it in would be such like TDS said, like an imposter level entry, and it would also just throw a huge curveball into the playoffs. Like imagine Gordo and TDS, you guys have to do like your playoff straw, right? And you have to announce the teams, and you've got all these serious teams: Ole Miss Esports, St. Clair Esports, Illinois State, Pulse Star. They're
There
gonna
is
go.
Pulsing Gooners.
There is
against-
Pulse and Gooners.
Yeah, well, there is that. But then all these serious teams, and suddenly you've got to say they are playing against Skibidi Looks Maxers, which is just such like a right hand turn from where we were going before. That I think for like comedy's sake, I hope they make it. And also so I can potentially see what this team is made of because I actually want to see what they're cooking.
well here's a scenario, Quax. They play Ember. It's Ember Foxes. Right? They play Ember Foxes
Yes.
on Monday. If Ember Foxes lose their matchup with Pulse and Gooners, there's still a chance that Skibidi make it.
Yeah.
So we
that
could
would
just
make
cast
that
this.
that
we
would
could
make
cast
that a
the
very
series.
high prio. I mean, we might kidnap
Yeah.
that to be honest, but
Oh,
yeah,
you
we'll
would
see.
do it on a Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna
There's
stream on
no
Monday.
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
You
Well,
just-
so somebody should stream it.
we'll
if that-
see. Yeah, we'll
Yes.
find a way. So that's the thing. We're
Somebody's
not.
got to.
We're not. I think I even called this out in the announcement post. Yeah, there will be an Aegis stream and a Salt Mine stream on Monday, I assume, unless you guys are both busy and we can't find
Oh
somebody
no,
to
I'm
fill.
not busy.
We
Um,
can do Monday.
Yeah, the plan is for
It's-
there to be streams,
ACL, yep.
both streams on Monday at least, and then maybe we get some co-streamers in there too. We're just gonna wait until the weekend to pick those matches because we want to see the Friday results first, so we can intentionally pick matchups with playoff implications.
So we can steal the better ones.
Yeah, but there's a very high probability
That's fair.
that
Oh yeah.
that Ember Foxes versus Skibidi Looks Maxers ends up being
Yep.
one of those matches. Yeah, because I mean, even if Clown beat Briarcliff, which they probably will, their potential to upset St. Clair and the game differential there is going to make a big difference. So it'll be something to keep a look at. But I think Clown is the most likely to make it. They have a realistic path to 5 wins if they can pull out a win over St. Clair, which I don't think is impossible. Or they can get a tiebreaker at 4 wins too, which I think is also certainly doable against a team that's been as inconsistent as Ember Foxes or Skibidi.
Yep. I think I'm on the side of Clown as well. I will say my close second has to be Skibidi. I don't have a lot of I don't want to say a lot of hope on Ember Foxes. The problem is that they are so inconsistent that I can see them I can perfectly see them winning against. They are playing against Pulsing Gunners on the first. I can see them beating Pulsing Gunners 2-1, and then out of nowhere losing against Skibidi 2-1 as well. So I I have very little hope for them just because of that amount of inconsistency that they bring. Where I know what I can get from both Clown and Skivity, even if Skivity is less than Clown in my opinion.
Oh, that's fair. Even like that's the other thing is like if it does get to a tiebreak scenario, like eking out little win, like getting one win against Goonstar if you're Ember Foxes or one win against
It's
St. Clair if you're Clown, goes a long
Mhm.
way. Really helps your game
Yeah.
differential, which may end up making a difference.
I would also say I think Clown making it would be really, really cool for the players in particular. Like I feel like particularly like Rough Beans and Enthralled, particularly since summer, I've been really high on them as like
Yeah.
players. And even though there hasn't been a ton of Clown coverage over it, like you guys managed to cover one of their series. But like these are two guys that I actually think are really fun to watch, if nothing else, and really talented at just being super duper off the walls in terms of how they play, and
It's been
that
a
makes
tough-
them unique.
It's been a tough ACL for the Ducky Getters. I mean, hiccups on the bench. Clown Gaming. Clown Gaming's struggling. Calculus is on Straw Hat Crew. They're struggling. Bio forgot about the deadline and didn't
Yep.
even find a starting spot. It's a tough time for the Ducky Getters. Hopefully, some of them end up making it.
Don't worry, spring they come back. you
Did
know.
any of the Ducky Getters make the LA
I don't think
portion
so.
of
No.
they didn't because
I don't-
Bio
Nope.
missed
Yep.
out. And I think was Bio not the only one that
No, Calculus
of the
is
Ducky-
Calculus was
Oh,
there, but
Calculus
they
made it
chose
too, but
Hoarder
he-
and
yep.
Zamudo.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
Hoarder
Yeah.
and Zamuda, and then yeah, you're right. Calculus was there. I don't think I got to cover any of his games, but
I think the other ones were Kryra.
Enthralled
and-
was there too. He was splitting AD and support.
He was
right?
playing support,
But I
yeah,
don't
he was
think he
playing
made
shit,
it.
that's right. Damn, my memory is on point today.
Well,
Yeah,
none of them made it.
There's
so.
no Ducky Getter players. Yeah, there's no Ducky Getter players.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. I'm
No.
not saying that. It's,
No.
I'm just
It's
curious.
definitely not. I mean, most of these guys have been like just got their start. So I think to see them even make it into a combine of that caliber is in itself an achievement, because no matter if you make it to LA or whatever in that type of event, like you'll walk away a better player with how many resources Parth and Co gave to all the players, the seminars, the coaching sessions. I believe there was like an esports psychologist as well. That's super fucking cool. Like the resources they provided for the players were substantial enough, I think, to the point where every player should have walked out at least a little bit better in one or more aspects of the game. Not just necessarily like on Summoner's Rift, but like as a player in general, because there are more dimensions to just playing in the game than that. So I'm hoping to see them in spring when open qualifiers start, or CLOL when that starts, because in the spring semester, because I think we'll be seeing hopefully more of them. I like those players.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, with that,
Piltover.
let's move on to Piltover. Okay, so Piltover. Let's get the breakdown here. So AOE Esports at 6-0 have locked-in playoffs. They are set to go. K9 at 1-6, Grandview at 1-5, and Kosa at 2-5 are mathematically eliminated. They cannot make it. That leaves 3 spots for 5 teams: Gentle Hearts Gaming, Guangdong Flying Tigers, BlackRock Esports, Dorado Gaming White, and Contingent Esports. Now here's a big development, boys.
I know what you're gonna
Yeah,
say.
that some of you might not be ready for. Contingent Esports plays Kosa and K9. They have a very clear path to 5-3, and I think they're very likely to make playoffs.
But wait,
I
it
think they will.
gets fucking better. Gordo, I thought you were gonna say something else. I knew about the whole Kosa thing, but it gets even better than that. It's also that Dorado White, who are another team in contention, they're right there, just had a big roster swap where they replaced their jungle and mid. So this team
Oh, I did not
got
know that.
split in half. Yeah, if you look at the roster,
They benched
managings,
Kachu?
They benched
Yep.
Kachu, and they got their jungler out of there. Or no,
it's on the
Porsche.
sheet?
Porsche is out of there.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, so they kept Kachu.
Rock-
They got rid of...
Okay.
Yeah, so
Kachu.
it's Munchie and Porsche that are out, and they got 2 new people, which I think significantly
Shocky on the
dampens
bench.
their ability to
Severed
make it.
and Love
Rocket?
Camille. I don't know who these guys are.
Yeah.
Rocket?
I think
Rocket, it looks like
I've
is his
heard
name.
Rocket.
I've heard of
Oh wait,
Rocket before.
Rocket.ysk. No, that's just
YSK.
he's just calling out. Why you should know me. Okay.
You should know me.
Dare
yeah.
you call up the GOAT?
Shockey on the
Alright.
bench. That's a name I haven't seen in a hot minute either.
Yeah, I know, right? I remember when You Should Know Me was the hot shit for a little bit on IG after the Shy left, and then he like fell off a cliff. Well, I mean, at least he kept that part consistent with all the IG top laners.
I would laugh so much if this by some miracle ends up actually being like that player. Would be hilarious, but there's
That would be
no
hilarious.
way.
No,
So-
he would
so-
he would dick everybody. Even like a sub, even like a mid-level LPL player, like a bottom level LPL player could probably absolutely like dumpster any of the top laners here. But well, maybe not any, but like I would say like
Most of them.
50%.
Most
Oh,
of them, yes.
that's a tangent.
I mean, we just had. It's like less than a year removed from Yushin, boys. We kind of like Yushin was not
Yeah,
an LPL player.
I was going to say.
We kind of already did this
is a white
experiment.
team. We need to remember this is actually a white team. It's Dorado Gaming White.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a relevance there. Who knows?
Well,
So here's the like.
regardless.
The thing I was gonna say is like the roster moves you brought up, Quax. They also have the rub salt in the wound here. They have the roughest last 2 games. I think of
they
any
do.
teams that we're talking about.
Yeah,
They
they're.
can play AOE and Guangdong.
I think
so...
I think they're sunk. I think they're the least likely to make playoffs out of these 6
I do
teams.
as well. I will just say a lot of people were super high on White. Okay, well that came out wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of people were super duper
That's pretty high.
optimistic about Dorado Gaming White going into it, and I don't know. I felt like this team could make playoffs, but it always kind of felt like this team was and you know, no pun intended, of course, but super black and white. Like they were either going to be good or straight up be bad. And it kind of feels like we had shades of gray in there sometimes, but now it feels like with the most recent loss, I think this team is potentially boomed.
I think
because
I'm off the
Contingent
train.
winning there, I think, is indicative of them being able to make it out. Like I think Contingent has a really good shot.
I'm off the. I'm fully off the train. I'm not going to make any off-color jokes about what Dorado Gaming White fans can call themselves, but I think it's. Yeah,
Okay.
I think they're sunk, dude. I think it's over. It's having to play against Guangdong Flying Tigers and AOE to close out your season. I think they're very likely to end 3-5. I think they would need some huge upsets to be able to make it. GFT, I think, are probably the most likely to make it. They're 4-2. They play Dorado White, who they'll probably beat. They play Grandview, who I think they'll almost certainly beat.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're pretty set. Gentle Hearts versus BlackRock is being played tonight. That'll be...
Dude, I wish I could cover that.
Yeah, I actually think it's being played tomorrow, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
also think
tomorrow,
Jeff
actually.
Barnes will cover that.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
I
it
know.
is going to be covered by Gentle Hearts.
That's good, at least.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy. Shout out to my boy Niarco, the Gentle Hearts man
Yep.
for real. That it was so fun casting with him. I didn't get to mention it last time, but yeah, it was cool. He brought a lot of knowledge to Gentle Hearts, and I think I gained a new appreciation for them. So if not Contingent, I'll be
Well,
rooting
enjoy
for Gentle
your,
Hearts from the Piltover.
One of the
Enjoy your
fathers of the
appreciation for
PSN.
now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they'll... Yeah, I think they're pretty likely to make it, too. They'll probably beat Grandview, at least, to get up to 5 wins, and then I think they're pretty favored against BlackRock. BlackRock, like...
They have a tough schedule.
They have a tough schedule.
Yeah.
They play AoE, and then they still have to play Gentle Hearts. So, like, BlackRock needs to beat... And then that's the other thing, is BlackRock needs to beat Guangdong Flying Tigers. They will probably still lose to AoE, which would put them at I guess if they beat...
They beat GHG.
If they beat GHG,
qualify.
they'll be 5-2, and then they'll end 5-3.
I think you need 5 wins to qualify for playoffs in this group with how
Yeah,
crazy
in
it's
this
going to
group.
look. It doesn't
And then
seem
even
like
then,
it, but with
they'll-
the
even then they'll have
So-
a tiebreaker with Contingent, probably. Because, again, Contingent has a super smooth run to
The thing is that
5-3.
it's not only going to be BlackRock when you look at it. It's actually BlackRock and GHG, the ones that are going to have a tiebreak with Contingent if BlackRock wins. Because if BlackRock wins, they end up
Yes.
5-3 more than likely, losing to AOE, and then GHG will probably win against Grandview. 5-3, 5-3, and then Contingent also 5-3. So there could be just a tiebreaker between games.
Yep.
I think the way to dumb this group down from now on is that 6 wins locks you playoffs, 4 wins isn't enough, 5 get ready for the
Maybe.
game difference jackpot. That's basically
I
what it is. Because
hope that you're good.
Yeah, because unlike Zaun and the discussion we just had with St. Clair, the game difference is wildly open.
Yeah.
Gentle Hearts is +5 and Contingent is -2. Everybody else is in between that. So with 2 to 3 games with some of these teams, there's enough room to swing these numbers a lot.
Absolutely.
One thing I'm going to be checking out for next week's episode when everything is settled is how much you needed to qualify in one group compared to the others. Because like I want to see that difference between teams and how much they were left out from their group compared to the other teams in some other groups. Like I think that would be kind of fun to try and see to try and kind of measure strength or at the very least competitiveness in that group.
Yeah, and it's basically just a measure of how many games did the lower seeded teams steal, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the best way to wrap Piltover up is we all should just say the other 3 playoff spots. To be honest, like we should all take shots because obviously we're all putting AOE in there. Also, quick shout out AOE. Everybody on here, including guests, kept saying that like AOE is the most fraudulent top seed. AOE, gotta be careful.
By the way.
Okay.
I'm still on that
they're
train.
good.
By the way.
Yeah.
Like, look,
They've still beat everybody in their group.
Better,
I mean,
they are better than everyone else in this group, but they are not the best 1 seed, and I will stand on that until
I just want we need to give them the flowers that they definitely cruised their group, and people were saying they might not even do that. So I want to give them respect there.
The thing is that I am already like on the hater mood against AOE. Like I've been already on the hater train against them for quite a while. So I cannot jump out of it at this point. I need to keep being a hater against them. That's why I cannot give them the flowers yet. But if you guys want to, go on. Like it's fine. I will never.
I won't be a hater, but I will say I think the reason why, at least for me, I felt like AOE might be the most soft seed 1 team is because like I feel like Piltover is the easiest division like at the like current moment. Like I think there is a very clear line that separates the really good teams from the actual like kind of bottom of the barrel. So like you look at the other ones, right? Like we just talked about Zaun. There are 3 teams that have 5 wins and are essentially neck and neck right at each other when people unanimously put Pulsing Gooners as the first and would be untouchable. Like, yes, they still haven't lost a game, but neither has Ole Miss and St. Clair, or well, to be determined, right? But and then like St. Clair has only lost 1, so they are close behind. And I think even Demacia and Noxus are more tough than Zaun. So I think Piltover is the easiest division. I think AOE, while a really good team, I would expect this team to make semifinals. I'm going to back up TDS here and say they are probably the most fraudulent seed 1 team, but I'm excited to see where they go.
I don't think any of these are bad takes. I just remember people saying like they might not top their group. Like
that is
they
insane.
will top the group.
They will top their
They
group.
will top
I will say I think I was one of them, and I am clearly wrong in that. I think I was one of them. I don't remember which team I thought was actually going to do it because like everyone else has looked really fraudulent in this group. But like, yeah, I gotta admit,
GFT were on a strong run for a bit.
I think I was actually on the
Dorado
game. Yeah, I think I was on the white train, and they clearly proved me wrong. So yeah, I will say I was wrong on that with AOE. I probably need to lower down the hater levels a little bit. I still will hate them, but I will admit that I was one of the wrong ones that I thought they weren't going to topple the group, and they clearly did.
You're a white supremacist there for a little bit.
I feel like if you like.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Yeah, we got that one in there.
All
right, that's gonna flag us in the YouTube algorithm immediately. By the way,
yeah, you're gonna get.
If they find that, God, if they find that.
But,
all right, let's.
Yeah, if you want,
let's name our
like go. If you go to jail and then you get out and then they ask you what you were in for and you just say Dorado Gaming White, everyone will understand that it was fraud.
Okay, fair enough.
So
I was like, where is this going? I was like,
I wasn't sure where that was
get out
going.
of jail. Like,
I had to cook. I had to cook.
That was pretty
All
we
right,
let you
good,
go.
all
actually.
right.
It's just a little-
I'll
All right,
name my
yeah.
3 first. All right. I think Gentle Hearts have got it locked. They're in a really good position with a match against Grandview. Guangdong, I think they've also got it locked. They've also got a match against Grandview. And I think it's going to be contingent for my third. I think BlackRock are going to end 4-4. I think they're going to drop to GFG, and I think they're going to drop to AOE to end 4-4. So they're going to be under the 5-3 contingent. And I think Dorado's going to lose out. I think they're going to end 3-5. So I think there's going to be no tiebreakers needed for who makes playoffs. Maybe there'll be tiebreakers within the standings. But I think we'll have a clear top 4 for playoffs. I think it's going to be AOE, GFT, and contingent.
Yeah.
all
So-
right. Here, wait, hold on. I gotta verify something that I'm gonna cook, and I promise it's not gonna be.
Okay.
I was gonna say Dorado White or something like that. and
No,
send it
no,
to
no,
the
no,
upper
no.
Atmosphere.
No,
No, he's gonna say
No.
that
GFT and
contingent
AOE,
is
they're
okay.
asking for it.
Okay,
They're waiting.
okay, all right. So I'm gonna give you exact spots. I'm gonna go fully.
Ooh,
AOE top. Here's the fun part. Okay, AOE top. Contingent are gonna be 4th at 5-3.
Okay.
2 and 3 is gonna be. 2 is going to, by the smallest margin ever, is going to be Guangdong, okay? So Guangdong is going to 2-0 both of their remaining opponents. So they're going to bump their game record to 13-5. Gentle Hearts, and they're going to be 6-2. Gentle Hearts is going to also be 6-2, but they're going to 2-1 BlackRock and then 2-0 Grandview. And what does that put them at? 13-5. And Guangdong 2-0 Gentle Hearts. So the head-to-head tiebreaker is going to decide the 2-3 spot for me. And it's going to go to Guangdong.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually completely agree. I think AOE will be number 1. I think I feel like GFT are just like obviously no shade to Gentle Hearts. I think Gentle Hearts are a super good team. I am looking forward to seeing them in playoffs. But like I feel like GFT are just a little bit better, and they also have, I would say, an easier schedule, going forward. So I feel like it would be much more fitting for them to take the second spot. And then I would say it's Gentle Hearts, and then I would say it's Contingent. I do think though that, I mean, it's hard to say that this is for certain, because I do think BlackRock have the chance to actually beat Gentle Hearts. Like I think if BlackRock beat Gentle Hearts, then they probably and like Contingent don't necessarily have like a good run, or even if they win their games, if they like 2-1 a series or something like that, then I feel like BlackRock should get in. So I will say by the smallest of margins, Contingent. And then so yeah, it's for me, it's AOE, Guangdong, Gentle Hearts, Contingent. I think it's pretty unlocked there, but there's room for Dorado, or not Dorado. Not Dorado. BlackRock, rather.
Yeah. TDS, it was me and you that cast the mainstream when Guangdong dismantled GHG, right? Because
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But you, TDS, what are your? Yeah.
Well, just complete destruction. I think it's going to be AOE GFT 1-2. So I think GHG may end up getting out. Like may end up being left out. I think GHG may be one of the teams, but there's 2 reasons why I say this. One is because I think that they are one of the teams that splits most. Like they are actually one of the teams that splits quite a bit of games, if I'm not wrong. Like looking at some of the results, so I feel like they are one of the teams that I would be willing to say that against BlackRock it's going to happen as well, and that's a place where I don't think it's a good idea to try and go into that place against a team that is so close to you. And then second is, we've already seen GHG playing multiple times with Solidified instead of Lawrence. And if there is a chance that they don't play this week with Lawrence, I think BlackRock wins against them. So it's depending on those 2 things. But I feel like BlackRock has bettered themselves in a way that I think I would like to give them more chances. The problem is that against the top opponents in the group, quote unquote, like the ones that are clearly on top of them, they haven't necessarily been the best team either. So like I don't think they have shown anything to make me think that they would be above the other teams. And they also got 2-0 by Dorado Gaming White at the start of the split. So like if they get out, they get eliminated, it's completely deserved. I will say though, I think it's probably going to be like, I think it's going to be AOE GFT, GHG BlackRock. I think Contingent is going to mess up somewhere.
I could see
I'm
that.
sorry.
I mean, the world. That's I think a big thing that BlackRock can kind of stake their claim on. You know, like Contingent. Yes, they have an easy path, but it's like they're not that much. At least record wise. You know, I'm not gonna pretend I've watched all the games for these teams, but at least record wise, they're not that much better than Kosa. They're not even really that much better than K9. And K9 I know is doing some roster shuffling as well. So.
Yep.
You know,
So, like,
either of those teams, even though they're both eliminated from
It's the
playoffs,
easiest path, but it's not the most clear path to victory, right? Like, it's the easiest, but I wouldn't bet on them to make it a clear stance to playoffs.
Yep, I think that's actually I think that's very fair. I think it's an easy path for Contingent. It's an easier path than many get coming into this last 2 weeks. But that doesn't mean that it's guaranteed. I think they could get upset by either of these teams, and if they do, it puts BlackRock right back in contention. Like
I was about to say,
BlackRock can make it at 4-4 if neither Dorado nor Contingent get to 4 wins,
So,
which
like-
I mean can happen. It just can't.
And I think, and I honestly, I will say this as well. I think we're obviating too much Dorado because obviously they had a lot of roster changes. Obviously they have been looking like. Wait, can we cuss in the podcast? We can, right?
Yes, we've
Shit.
been cussing for forever, man.
Yeah, like I was actually thinking, do we actually do it? But I didn't remember at the time.
Yeah.
So they've been looking like shit consistently, but they did make roster changes, and they also are been completely discounted by everyone. I would have more hope in them winning a game that nobody expects them and putting them at 4-4 than Contingent, just because it's Contingent at the end of the day, and nothing against them, but.
It's possible.
Like
Bro.
there's a way for them to just trip and fall really
I
heavily.
do agree. I do, and now that TDS mentions it, I mean, I think we may be selling a little too much into Contingent being able to actually 2-0.
No, bro. We're not. I believe.
You believe?
You gotta believe.
All right. Yeah. I'm
Quax
sorry.
is-
I'm
Quax is
sorry,
the optimist.
Arlen. I'm sorry to the boys on that team. Yeah, I
So-
don't know. I don't know if but I mean, they've had a solid season for themselves. I mean, they deserve their props. They beat GFT.
it's
They
great.
beat Dorado White.
Yeah.
You know, those are earned wins. There's a reason they get to be 3-3 while having not played 2 of the bottom 3 teams yet. I mean, their fate is very much in their hands. If they sweep here and
Like-
go 5-3, they'll make playoffs.
They did something that BlackRock couldn't even do, which was win against a team that is above you. That is GFT. So like, yeah, if they do it, they deserve it 100%. I won't be against it. I just hope that they can show me that they deserve that. Not that they deserve it, that they can do it.
Yeah.
I just want them to shake
It
off
really
that,
feels
that
bad to
doubt.
have like already gotten the upsets and have the rock in your hands and to fumble it. That's gonna suck.
And as someone that has watched NA for quite a while, also my own region, which is Latin America, I've watched us fumble that so many times that I cannot hope for anyone and anything anymore. So like, yeah, just do it, please.
So it's unfortunate that we like this goes out on Friday because we keep saying tomorrow. So the game on the 14th, the Thursday match, I actually think Gentle Hearts and BlackRock, that game is what makes the group a lot more chaotic than it's already been
Yes.
presented.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
if BlackRock 2 won this, then you go from having potentially 2 teams at 6-2. I'm going to bet the AoE is not 6-2. By the way, I think they're 7-1, 8-0, probably 8-0.
I agree.
You go from having 2 6-2 teams to only really 1, and then that opens up the floodgates for all this BlackRock, Dorado Gaming, White contingent talk. And if you're a contingent fan, you are hoping the Gentle Hearts win. By the way, because
Yeah,
if they
you want to
win,
get that out of the way.
yeah. Because if they win, your 5 wins are a lot more protected than they would have actually than they will be if BlackRock gets this win.
I agree with that. Yeah. Well, we'll see. This
So-
is a chaotic group.
yeah.
Lots could happen.
Yeah. What that we may end up stealing a match from,
Yeah,
just depending on results.
definitely. Well, we've staked our flags. I admit that we may be a little overconfident on contingent, but I'm not gonna flip flop now.
Fair enough.
Let's hear it. Contingent. The power's with you. You can make it happen. You just have to beat.
You decide your fate.
You just have to
Take
beat
my
these.
energy.
You have to beat the mathematically eliminated teams. It's the easiest path you could ever have to an ACL fall playoffs.
This is gonna suck when both the teams they play just FF. By the way,
and they just make
right.
it for free.
Oh
They
shit!
just forgot
get
that
a
that's a
free
thing.
4-0
I don't think
win.
K9 won't FF. PVS wouldn't do that to us.
I don't think K9
PVS
will
will
FF.
pull in diamond players from his friends list before
Well,
he
I'm
FFs.
volunteer.
And Grandview is technically a collegiate team, so like.
I would hope they don't FF.
Oh wait,
yeah,
no,
but-
actually, it's Kosa. Yeah, no, and
It's
Kosa. Yeah, Kosa. Okay.
I don't know.
actually.
Kosa usually plays out their seasons. I feel like.
Yeah, Kosa is also a good sport.
Kosa's
so I would
used to
hope
not
they
making
do it.
playoffs. They usually play out their seasons still.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm
Kicking
sorry,
a man
Kosa.
while he's down right there.
We-
Gordo.
that was a compliment, as backhanded as it may be. They do usually. play
Yeah,
out
so
their
backhanded.
We're going to receive hate comments now
yeah,
from the whole.
we're just
Kosa
having
player.
fun. We're having fun pre-playoffs. Let's get over to Noxus. All right, Noxus. Some cut and dry stuff to kick off. So CCG at 6-0 are locked in for playoffs. Mirage Alliance Baguette at 6-1 are also locked in for playoffs. Calamity Esports at 0-7 is eliminated. Dorado Black at 1-5 is eliminated, and Pick Me Galio at 2-6 with their season over. No games left to play is eliminated as well.
They actually
so,
won their first 2 games only.
Yep. So
Yep,
two
they-
play. They went 4-0 in the first 2 weeks and
No.
did not win a game for the rest of the season.
rough.
Rough happens. So we have 2 playoff spots up for grabs between 4 teams. Those teams are Nanos Noobs, Supernova Dark Matter, Weber State, and Straw Hat Crew. At Nanos Noobs have 1 match left to play. These range from Nanos Noobs with 1 match left to play to Supernova having 4 matches left to play.
Because
So
they could not ever
But
play
them
on
and
match day,
Supernova.
by the way. That's
But-
why this is
But
reality.
that one match that they have left, the match from the 13th, which is today for us, but the 13th, that kind of defines everything in this, or
Yes.
not everything, but like a
It's a
huge,
huge deal.
part of this group.
I
Like
agree.
legitimately, it's the difference between a team already qualified. Like I think this could be the difference between Nanos Noobs going to playoffs and Nano Noobs getting out of playoffs.
It-
Like I think
it
that's the
absolutely
difference
is.
there.
Yeah. So Alex, Homie AG is co-streaming this one. Shout out to him. I
That's
put
cool.
out like a call for somebody to co-stream this game so that a cast of it would exist somewhere, and that call was answered. Yeah, I completely agree. The Supernova Dark Matter versus Straw Hat Crew series that will be played tonight at time of recording, absolutely tremendously massive. And I think has a huge effect, like TDS said, on whether or not Nanos Noobs make playoffs. So if I'm assuming that Weber is probably a little doomed here. I'm a little low on Weber. No hate to my boy Goku.
Understandable.
At least they'll be definitely playing out this very big matchup.
Absolutely.
because
So,
they have
but assuming
stakes.
Weber loses to Nanos, Noobs, and Supernova, which feels likely, even though it's not guaranteed, then a Supernova Dark Matter win over Straw Hat Crew would likely put them and Nanos, Noobs in playoffs. A Straw
Yeah.
Hat Crew win probably forces a 3-way tie between Nanos, Noobs, Supernova Dark Matter, and Straw Hat Crew at 5-3, where game record would decide which 2 of those make playoffs. Weber can, of course, throw a wrench into that by upsetting Supernova
winning.
or Nanos Noobs. But so assuming that things kind of play out according to my expectations, where I kind of see Weber State as the imposter in this situation,
Sure.
then those are kind of the worlds that we're in, and they're basically entirely dependent on whether Supernova Dark Matter can take the win tonight or not. If Supernova Dark Matter wins, then Straw Hat Crew very well may find themselves screwed. They may be stuck at 4-4. Probably if they lose to Supernova Dark Matter, they would be at 3-4. They would likely beat Cupid and end up, or sorry, Calamity. They would likely beat Calamity and end up 4-4, which would leave them on the outside looking in a world where CCG and Mirage are locked. Nanos Noobs end 5-3 by beating Weber, and Straw Hat Crew move up to 5-3. And Supernova Dark Matter end up at 6-2 or 5-3 after presumably beating Weber and Dorado Black and presumably losing to CCG.
We're mathing way too much here.
Yeah,
and
I know. I said,
I'll-
listen, there's like this group has like 12 matches left to play, so I'm making a lot of assumptions here.
Everyone should be thankful to Supernova that decided to play all their matches on 1 week. for some.
I'm pretty much just assuming that
reason.
like teams higher. If you just assume that teams higher in the standings beat teams lower in the standings, which isn't a guarantee, of course, but assuming that regularly happens, then it really does come down to this Supernova Dark Matter Straw Hat Crew series. That's all you need
Kind
to
of
know.
funny.
And then I'm going to come in and be like the game difference guy again, which is once again crazy because it's the first deciding tiebreaker, and the difference in difference in game difference between all the teams we're talking about, Weaver, Nanos, Dark Matter, Straw Hat, is 2 to 3. So Straw Hat's +1 at the top, and Supernova Dark Matter are +4. So that's important to remember, especially with the Straw Hat Crew Nanos Dupes conversation, because there is actually a world where Straw Hat Crew win this series 2-1 against Supernova Dark Matter, but Nanos Noobs, if they 2-0 Weber, push themselves high enough with game difference that they would actually, well, I guess they could force a 3-way tie, but Straw Hat Crew does have the series against Calamity too.
Well, and then
so
the other thing is
Supernova
tough. Dark Matter have 4 series left to play, so their game differential could be anywhere.
Yeah, I'm basically, I guess in my head over here, listening to all this, I'm basically just accepting the 3 playoff teams already locked in my head are Supernova, Dark Matter, Mirage Alliance, and CCG Sports, and everyone's fighting for the last spot. That's what's in my head. But I know that's not like the reality at all, but I just think Supernova Dark Matter are just that good that
I think they're good, but I think it's like, here's the thing. I think a Straw Hat Crew loss is realistic. I still really respect the Straw Hat Crew roster.
Yeah.
I think a CCG loss is realistic.
Completely realistic.
And then, they can win out the rest, but that still puts them at 5-3, which is the same record that we think like Nanos Noobs is going to have.
So here's the thing where I'm going to throw the wrench in, and I think people are going to call me crazy. I think Weaver wins against Supernova.
Really?
But not Nanos Noobs? Or you think they beat Nanos Noobs too?
No, I think they beat both. No, like I think
okay,
Weaver
so you think they
will
win out? You think Weaver's going to end the season?
I think they will. Yeah, I think they are going to end the season qualified. I don't know if above. I don't know if above third. So I'm thinking they are going to end 4th. So maybe not both, but like or no, actually, both. So that I think it's going to be Straw Hat Crew and Weaver in. I don't know in what order, but they're going to be both of them.
So you
in.
think Supernova's going to miss?
Supernova will be at. Yeah,
That's
I think
so
Supernova will miss because yes, I think they lose against Straw Hat Crew here. And then they lose against CCG, that's already 0-2. And I think Weaver will win against them. Like, they will win against Dorado, but I think Weaver will win their 2 remaining matches.
If you're right, you have to clip this and send it to Cubby, just so you knew you knew his downfall was coming.
Oh wait, I forgot that's his team.
It's Cubby's team.
Yeah, but I'm still calling it. I believe in Weaver. I think Weaver has it in them.
Saying jokes about Goku. Insert them.
Hell yeah, Goku.
No, I'm kind of in the same boat as Slayer. I feel like Supernova are in such a good position, and they have so many more games that even if they like underperform by their standards, the odds of them being able to win, I would say 2 out of their 3 remaining matches is high, right? And that would probably put them in. Nanos Noobs, Look, nothing against Weaver, but I really want to see Nanos Noobs actually make it. Like, this team looks exciting just based on watching them play. They look like a really cool X Factor. Like, mechanics-wise, I feel like this is one of the most mechanically gifted teams that we have in the ACL, and maybe they are, at the top of the table. But I think it would be really cool to see a team that specializes in, like, just straight up hands diffing people. Where so many teams are concerned about the macro aspect of the game. I'm not saying their macro is bad, but like their mechanics are on another level, at least by like 4th, 3rd place team standards.
That's fair. I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's a high potential team for sure. I think. Guys like
they
Ivan.
Have a super high ceiling.
Guys like Ivan and Hub.
They really kind of remind me of like Morningstar White in a way, like kind of like Temu Morningstar White, where they are just like so. Like their mechanics are just off the rails, and they play off the rails, which is always really fun.
Yeah, then I'm over here as the super biased Straw Hat Crew fan, because I'm a homer for some of these players. I will say though, the conversation once again, I've been away from the the podcast for a bit here, but last time we talked a lot about. We'll talk about the team. I'm not going to name them. A certain team being the worst team to miss playoffs in ACL history potentially. This
the best
team missing
to
it.
miss ACL playoffs, right?
The best team. The best team.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
sorry,
best.
Thank you. Switching around. English
Say,
language is
worst
a
team to
wonderful
miss
thing.
playoffs in ACL history has been locked in long ago. I'm sure
Yeah.
it was.
English language is a wonderful thing. Best team on paper to miss ACL playoffs. Straw Hat Crew would be one of them in my mind as well. Like this roster is just too good. Also, shout out Zhao Danny for I believe being the starting mid laner finally for his college in his last year. It seemed like, which is really cool.
So that congrats to him.
Yep.
Big Zhao Danny fan.
What
But yeah, I
college
mean
is it? UCI?
UCI, yeah. He's
Yeah,
gonna start
UCI.
for
Oh,
It sounds like he's starting over Cinnamon Bread this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't
so,
know
yes.
if Debonair graduated, maybe, or if he's just not on the roster anymore and he's the third man. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I
Xiao
don't know
Danny
for
has been
sure.
the third man for a lot of years recently. It's been like
For a
Debonair and
while.
Cinnamon Bread.
Glad to see his OQ progress. Got him some love over there. Calculus, Frost Forest, Zhao Danny, Sushi, and Kim Down. Like this team cannot miss.
yeah. If a team had an
Playoffs.
NACL support and didn't make it, I feel like that definitely
That would be
is, like,
hilarious.
that
Well,
would, I think, put it over the edge for like holy shit tier.
and it's
of,
not
like,
even
how
that,
do you
like,
miss?
Yeah, it's like that in the tier 2 level, but then it's like what we have the best, the most improved. Calculus is most improved player, right? And Bio is rookie. Okay, so most improved, a coach who's coached multiple top 8, top 4 teams, or at least top 8 teams for us. Zhao Danny was just
Probably one of the best 80 carry. I'm helping you out, Slayer. Probably one of like I would say top 2 tier 3 80 carry in like the whole year. I would put Sushi.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
promotion tournament 80 carry is like the easiest way to say it. Promotion tournament. Zhao Danny had his best. He's top 8. He top 8 at one point. Like that's the best finish he's ever had. And then you have Kim Down. So like this team should not be missing ACL playoffs.
Yep.
And if they do get in, I think they'll be dangerous because they had a terrible start to the season that people kind of forget about, and they've been
Yep.
gradually getting better.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Like, that's
I
why
think
they
it's
are
just-
here, though.
Yeah, it's
That
like
horrible
Yeah.
start.
you know, it's put up or shut up time for them, right? They dropped to CCG, they dropped to Mirage, and then the big one is they dropped to Weber. So it's like, I mean, it's put up or shut up time for them, right? They got to be able to beat Supernova Dark Matter, or you know, or they end a meager 4-4, and you know that being 4-4, your destiny's out of your control in
Yeah.
9-team group stage. It's just the way of things. So I
Yeah,
mean,
you know,
like,
it's funny.
you know, you can't
It-
even.
Yeah.
I don't think. You know, it won't. How do I put this? It won't be like a tragedy. You know, it won't be like some like really unfortunate tiebreakers or whatever that knock them out. If they, you know, if they lose to Supernova Dark Matter here, then they'll have lost to 4 teams, and it'll probably be the 4 teams that end up going to playoffs over them. Maybe the exception being Nano's noobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
That's what I was about to say. Is like as funny as this whole like like we're shaping this like big scenario. It's like when you get down to brass tacks, it's simply the striker just didn't beat anybody. Like lost people below
Above
them,
them.
Yeah.
and didn't beat. Yeah, that's what happened. They lost too many people below
yeah,
them.
they're just if they lose. This is not as insightful as we're making it sound, but if they lose, it will be because they didn't win enough games. It will be
Yeah,
because
I
they
mean-
lost to too
Yeah.
many other teams in the
Pretty
group,
much.
and there were too many teams in the group that did better than them. I know we're getting into like the NFL broadcasters
That's the
filling
perfect,
time
yeah,
here,
that's
but
the perfect definition. Win more if you want to qualify.
the
That's
Noxus
it.
standings are going to come down to 2 things, guys: who wins more games and who wins not as many games.
Damn.
And also
Yeah.
if Supernova is actually
And if
good.
you could win more games than at least 5 teams, you're going to make playoffs.
That's insane.
Yep. That's it. Quality analysis right there. That's
So-
top
Yo,
notch
you could make it.
analysis here.
You could. I feel like maybe we know why TDS and I are the color casters. Our analysis, you know. Like,
Oh come on!
We go. We
Our
go,
job is
we
to
go the
simplify
extra
things.
step.
Yeah.
Our job's
yeah,
to
we
simplify
would
things.
say something along the lines of like, yeah, you need to be better than 5 other teams, but but like even if you're just okay, that doesn't necessarily mean you're good. That just means everyone else is bad. There you go. So you don't even have to be good.
I
As
actually
long as
think
you
do
I'll
something
go out on a
better
limb
than
here.
the
I think
rest.
there's 6 good teams in this group. I think
I
like,
do too.
I think like even if you know, let's say Weber and Straw Hat Crew miss, I think Weber and Straw Hat Crew could have made it out of some other groups maybe.
Agree.
Yeah, Piltover.
Yeah, Piltover.
So
Maybe
let's
even
do-
Zaun. Maybe even
I
Crypto
would
before
say even
Zaun.
Zaun. Yeah, like I'm thinking fourth place in Zaun is quite contested. I think two of these groups would love it there.
Yep.
Two of these teams.
So let's throw out the old predictions then.
Yeah.
Who went
let's do
last?
it.
TDS will go first then.
I already
How do you think
went,
Noxus
though.
shapes up? Oh, did you?
Yeah, I already said it's CCG, Mirage, obviously, and then it's Weaver's Straw Hat Crew, not in that
Right.
order, but one of the two. Well, the two of
Okay.
them will be between those two positions.
All right.
Yep.
Quax?
I kind of touched on it, but I say CCG, Mirage in second, Supernova in third, and Nano Snoop's fourth.
I think I'm with Quax here. It breaks my heart a little bit, but like I think Straw Hat's path is to like beat Supernova, which I think is already like really hard, and then like come out with a favorable tiebreaker when like I think Supernova's game differential is going to go through the roof. They've had a very clean run of it so far. They've only lost 2 games, and that was that series that they lost to Mirage. Am I crazy? They lost to Mirage, right? I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
So they've only lost 2 games, and it was that series they lost to Mirage. But otherwise, I mean, they're 6-0 in their 3 wins. I think they'll probably be 4-0 when they play Weber and Dorado. So I think their game differential is going to be through the roof. So even if it is like a 3-way tie, I think they'll probably top it at 5-3. And the Nanos Noobs are coming in already with a bit of an advantage in that game differential. I think they can bump those numbers up against Weber. If Straw Hat Crew ends up making it, I think it'll go to 3 against Supernova. I don't think they'll have the game differential stats to win it out, even if it does come to that. So yeah, I'm on probably Supernova Dark Matter third, Nanos Noobs fourth. I agree. It is probably Mirage in second. Yeah. Although Mirage is probably going to lose to CCG and drop to 6-2. So Supernova could even give them a run for their money at 6-2. Supernova could end second. That's also possible.
I do also have to say, like, I'm really impressed with how Mirage came out this.
Agree.
Split.
They overperformed to me.
I would say they are. I would argue this. Other than ISU, I think this is the most overperformance level team that we've seen in all of the ACL, and I think a large part of that is due to Utter. Like, I think Utter is the reason why this team does so well, and like no discredit to any of the other players, but like I feel like so often, especially in a meta like this, where we see like Yone and Yas, like Yone is probably the highest priority mid laner along with like Syndra right now. And if you look at the stats, nobody knows how the fuck to play Yone. This champion wins like 30% of his games because no one knows what they're doing on melee mids. And why would they, right? Like the whole year was dedicated to marksmen and mages. So naturally, you put them on like a fighter, they don't know what they're doing. But it's overpowered, so we got to play it. Utter, though, is a player that actually knows how to play the fighters in mid lane, like not just the Yone, but the Yasuo as well. And his team knows it, which I think is the biggest commodity they have. They will play shit like Gragas. They'll play shit like Wukong. They'll play around Utter. And I think that kind of understanding on like who he is as a player and how valuable he actually is what has put them so high up. So credit to the rookie. Like I know we don't give out awards in the ACL, but like if I could put this guy like I would say like a top 3 all-star mid in terms of how he has performed for his team. Like I actually am super impressed with him. All right, enough with my glazing. We can move on.
I'd like to say something. I haven't said my.
What do you want to say?
I haven't said. Well, I haven't said my picks, guys. Come on.
All right, let's put the strings together on the wall behind you to talk about how Straw Hat Crew's gonna make it.
Well, obviously I'm gonna put Straw Hat Crew in there because I'm a homer. I will say for Mirage Alliance Baguette, just like not to take away from all the great points Quax made, but we do have to remember this is a 4/5 of the AMI team that made it top 8 and second qualifier.
They made it top 8, yeah.
Yes, but they had a different mid, which was Zalt. I am saying Utter has made the difference.
True. Yeah. No, I'm just saying like the rest of the roster was almost the top, like because top 8 of qualifiers is like top 8 tier 3 like
Oh, I see
pseudo
what
in
you're
a way.
Kinda.
Yeah, so even it might actually be even higher because you're not actually only playing tier 3 teams at that point. You're kind of playing like a couple of these like Giga Fed rosters that are like basically tier 2. You guys know what I'm saying. Anyways, CCG 1, Mirage 2, Supernova Dark Matter 3, and then I'm gonna put Zaun Group 4. I think they have to beat Dark Matter, and then they're gonna sweep their last opponent to add +3 to their game score, and I think it's gonna be just enough to sneak them into the playoffs at 5-3 with a +4 game difference.
I like it, honestly.
Okay.
If Straw Hat Crew made it, I feel like it would be a pretty spicy. I feel like it would be a very. I feel like no matter who makes it out, Noxus is a strong ass group. Like they're
I was
going
about
to
to say
sending
that.
4 teams that are like ready and willing to like absolutely ass blast the rest of ACL. And I think
also
it's gonna be
think-
super hyped.
Probably the strongest 4th seed, looking at the other groups, potentially. Yeah, we still need to see Demacia, but probably the strongest 4th seed, depending on what happens with Peak. I would say.
Yep.
Yes,
I agree.
Yes,
I think it's
agree
very
with
likely.
you.
The strong group.
All
All
right.
right. Well, let's get into
Demacia time,
Demacia
boys.
then to close things
Yep.
out.
Perfect,
So,
like-
sorry, Slayer, did you have anything else you want to say about Noxus?
Nope. No,
Okay.
we're gonna keep rolling.
All right. Demacia. Illinois State at 6-0 have locked playoffs. No surprises there. The Agency at 0-7 is eliminated. Drop Dead Gaming Resilience at 1-5 is eliminated. Chaotic Solar at 2-4 have to play ISU on Friday. If they don't win that, they are eliminated.
They started 2-0,
Pulsar
man.
are fucking
They were
locked
2-0.
in.
Pulse are not locked in. They're 5-1. They could
Wow.
Chaotic
Yeah,
Solar was
technically they are in.
wasn't Chaotic Solar 2-0? That was
They
the story,
were
right?
2-0 at one point. They've had a tough time
Remember-
since then. They've won a lot of individual games, so if they can manage to upset ISU, they maybe can contend for something. But like,
But remember, Big Big Galio is the same thing.
yeah, but like at
It's-
least.
yeah.
So here's the deal, right? At least one of Next Level Esports, Peak Performers, and Converse mathematically must get to 4 wins. Because Next Level and Peak Performers are both at 3 wins and both play Converse, who is at 2 wins. So somebody's getting out of that at 4 wins. Either somebody's going to beat Converse or Converse is going to go 2-0 and they get to 4 wins. So Chaotic need to get at least 4 wins to be in contention. They can probably beat Drop Dead Gaming Resilience on Monday, but they need to beat ISU. And I just don't think they're going to be able to do that unless ISU trolls it. So
Yeah.
Chaotic Solar is like effectively eliminated in my mind. Keep
Mhm.
that in the back of your head as I don't talk about them for the rest of this. 3 spots up for
Understandable.
grabs. 5 teams grabbing them, not including Chaotic. Polestar, CCG Glorp, both at 5-1. Both very close. One of those
Yeah.
2 teams could bomb out, but not both. They play each other. The winner of that match will lock playoffs.
Mhm.
One
bet
of them
that
could
one
still
lock.
bomb out.
Yeah.
I would say Polestar is kind of the most likely to bomb out. Like Polestar could, because they play
Based on
Peak
games?
Performers and CCG Glorp.
No shot.
But they play
No
Peak
shot.
Performers
Based
and
on
CCG
games.
Glorp. If Peak Performers show up at the
Yeah.
form that we believe in them to be able to have, then
I-
if they show up in like 2023 Team Ambition form, and take down Pulse could end 5-3 and end up below Glorp, ISU, Peak
Yep.
Performers, and maybe even like a surging Next Level Esports or Converse or something. It's possible.
Look, so I really
Weird, but
like
possible. Yep.
I really like NLE, but I don't know, man. Like, I think from what we saw of them
insane.
was like that series was insane. But like to me, it just showed that like NLE is a very messy team. Like they have, I feel like, you know, you look at the top 3 teams and even like Peak Performers as well. Like it felt like Peak Performers had such a shit tier draft in game 2 when they played each other. Like we were saying, Peak Performers past 15 minutes are unbelievably fucked. And somehow 50-minute game, 700 like stack Smolder manages like how do you even get it to that point? Like I have never seen that in my life, and I pray to God that I never see that in my life. Like that was the most insane game I think I've ever seen. And I don't know. I think Next Level Esports were given a golden opportunity to get that to game 3. And if they are not able to do that against peak performers, they're not going to be able to do that against any of the other teams in Demacia.
Damn.
So I don't know. I think it's probably, for me, it's guaranteed to be ISU, Polestar, CCG, Glorp, and peak performers. Like, I think Peak have done it, which is awesome for them, because I will come out and say I was a doubter. One thing though is, dude, that this group could have been so much more interesting if CCG just had their roster right from the get-go.
Their initial roster.
Because that one loss to ISU probably pisses them off so hard. I think they stomp ISU. Like, I genuinely think this team makes it, like, hot take, super far in the future, this team makes it to finals in the playoffs. Like, as a whole, this is fucking Dragon Steel with like 2 other really good players. Like, I feel like there is no way, unless something happens, I feel like this team is destined to make it to finals. They just have so much talent.
Yeah, the problem is that Dragon Steel is overvalued. Like, they clearly showed that they were overvalued when they got eliminated in the first phase of the Americas tournament. So I don't know what you're basing yourself off of, Quax. We know that team is full of imposters and sus players. But in reality, I do agree, though. I think they are biting themselves so much for not just going against ISU in that first week matchup and completely winning that one. I also think they probably would have been the first seed in this group. I will say, though, I don't think it would have been that clear-cut. ISU did win against Polestar, and Polestar is a really, really good team. Like, I think it would have been contested at least a 2-1, but I do think Glorp is probably the #1 seed in the skies. And now, for peak performers, they have been doing good. They've been turning around. They have the players to do it. I still think Converse is going to do it, though. I still think Converse is going to be the 4th seed. They play peak performers next week, and peak performers needs to play also Polestar. So, like, there's nothing that has been yet decided in that group for peak performers. And Polestar and Converse has to play peak performers, and also they play next level esports. So if they beat next level, I think they are already en route to try and beat peak performers, and I think it's going to be possible.
Yeah. So Gordo, you were saying earlier you wanted to snag up one of the playoffs matches in Zaun. What was it again? It was.
He's gonna. They're targeting Ember Fox's.
Yeah, potentially the Ember Fox's Skibbity Looks Maxers match.
Yeah,
I already know exactly what.
You're gonna go for that and pass up Polestar versus CCG Glorp, arguably one of the most. I would say. I
probably will. I favor like elimination matches pre-playoff.
I also do as well.
Quax, that's the wrong match to pull from here. Quax, that's the wrong match. Peak Performers Converse could decide the last playoff spot.
If Peak Performers Converse decides the last playoff slot,
Pulse versus CCG Glorp to me gives such a good look into like where both of these teams could end up in playoffs.
Yeah, but like, we'll probably get to see them in playoffs.
Yeah, we'll look at them in
playoffs. Like a double lip bracket.
We more than likely will never get to see Converse against Peak Performers because one of them is getting eliminated. So like, I think that's setting up for a really good matchup on Monday.
Quax, you have to remember too, it's a double elim bracket. Like
that is true. All right, fine.
Yeah,
fine.
You'll see the good teams later.
Yeah, Quax. Here's the thing too. Here's the scenario because these two are going to do NLE Converse on Friday. If Converse wins that, I expect them to beat Drop Dead Gaming Resilience. The Monday game will it's Peak Performance Converse.
If that happens, actually, we'll probably take this Demacia game just because then we can keep the Converse story going.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the opposite. I was going to switch, and then we could take this one.
I mean, if you want to do that too, we can.
Well, there's always the chance
to keep the same narrative, right?
Remember that Noxus does have on Monday as well. Or actually, not on Monday. Okay, no, so we cannot watch that one. I was going to say the Weaver against Supernova Dark Matter, but they play on Tuesday, on the 19th, so there's no chance for us to actually watch it.
Yeah, we'll see. I haven't even checked. Yeah, actually, a bunch of these games are probably rescheduled, too. I don't even know. But we'll figure it out.
I wanted to be right and prove that we were going to do it, but okay.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree, though. Like,
not that much on Monday, actually.
The stage is set for Converse to have, kind of like what we were talking about with Contingent back in Piltover. The stage is set for Converse to have a bit of a run here. I think they can beat Drop Dead Gaming Resilience tonight. In fact, I think Dropped to Gaming Resilience already FF'd a game. If I'm not mixing them
I
up with
believe
somebody
so.
else, so they
See,
might
it's
just
already
FF.
happening.
They might
It's
just
already
FF.
happening.
Yeah, they might just FF again because I think they've already FF'd one game. And then, yeah, I mean, it's winnable against Next Level Esports. That'll be our featured match on Friday on Aegis. And then Peak Performers would be their matchup on Monday, which, like, I mean, we've seen Peak Performers lose to... Who do they lose to? Do they lose to...
They lost
to Next
Coast, I think it
Level.
was? Oh, Next Level, sorry.
No, Peak Performers have the head-to-head
Chaotic
for Next
Solar.
Level.
Chaotic Solar.
They
They
lost
lost
to
to Chaotic Solar.
Yes.
That's it.
They lost to
So-
somebody else, too, didn't they?
Probably not.
to
No, There's
ISU,
3 losses. I think
Glorp.
it's Chaotic and ISU. I think it's just Chaotic, ISU, and
It's
Pulse.
Chaotic
I would assume.
ISU
Yeah,
and
I think you're right.
Glorp.
You're right.
Or Glorp, whatever one of the two.
They lost to Glorp.
Yeah.
Wait, so yes. Hold on. Is there a world here where this game doesn't matter? Wait. Peak Performance. So Peak Performance lose to Polestar. They're gonna go 4-4, and then that Monday game won't matter because if Converse beat next, it will matter
Because
it'll come down to
Converse
game,
will themselves
Converse-
be they'll be 4-3,
and Peak
and they
Performance
can
will
be
3
pushed
and 4.
down to 4-4
To 4
by a
and 4, yeah,
win
but
by Peak Performers beating them.
So I want to know something. So let's say they win against. So they win 2-0 and 2-1. Let's say they go 8-8. So Peak Performers losing ends up going to 7-9, or let's say 8-9. So if
If they're
Converse
winning a
wins
Zero,
series,
eight,
they're
nine.
winning more than one game.
No, I mean like Peak Performers has only, or what is the left for
They're
Peak?
7
They
and
only
6
have
right now.
Polestar. Yeah, no, but they only have
So they would
Polestar
go
and Converse. So let's say they lose to
9 and
Polestar, right?
7,
They go 7-9
sorry,
because they lose
yeah.
against Polestar 2-0, let's say.
8-9.
So if
So that puts them to 7 and 8.
Unless you think they're gonna get swept by Polestar.
Yeah, no, let's say that they lose to 1. So it's 8-9.
8-9. Yep.
If
8 and 8
Converse
and 8.
wins
8 and
both,
8. They're at 7 and 6 right now. So losing 2-1 would
8
put
and 8.
them
Yes.
oh
8 and
yeah,
8.
8-8. So let's say they win. Converse wins 2-0 or 2-0 to 1. It will go to 8-8.
8 and 8. So the winner.
Okay, so actually, yeah,
So
no,
it'll come down
winner
to head-to-head.
decides it. Holy shit! So
Then it would come
Well,
to head.
Actually,
because that's going
winner
into their
decides.
final match. So
Yeah,
they
if they
yeah,
tie
exactly.
in game record,
So
it goes
winner
into head-to-head.
decides. Whoever
Well,
wins
it's not going to be
decides.
head to head though because somebody's going to win the series.
Yeah, no,
and
whoever
somebody's
wins the
going to sway
series
their game
qualify at
difference.
that point.
Yeah.
Or no, actually, no. Peak will be 4-4. So yeah, if Peak wins, head to head defines, and it's Peak that qualifies. If they win on the side of Converse, then it's Converse. Going in, if
Well,
it's like that.
well, I
if
don't think head-to-head
Converse
even
duos
matters.
both- No,
Yeah,
it's just that
head-to-head won't matter
because-
unless their game record.
because
yeah, no,
they'll-
it's
they're-
only if they win. Yeah,
because they'll both
Sorry,
go
if
in
they
8 and
win,
8.
it's enough.
Yeah. It's just winning in at that point.
Yeah, exactly. But that's if Converse doesn't 2-0, because if Converse 2-0s both, then even if Peak wins, there's a
Wait.
chance that if Converse wins one game, Converse qualifies.
Yeah, but there's also a scenario where if they double 2-0 and Peak does the same route you're talking about, Converse will be up, get 1 game score. If they get 2-1, they would tie in game score, and then the
Yeah,
head-to-head
and then
win of
head-to-head
that
works.
match is what
Yeah.
decides it.
I'm
That
actually
is-
more like, I think Converse Peak is going to be the one to look at on Monday. I really
Converse-
feel like that is looking
Well, I mean,
to
but that's
that.
it could all just get ruined if Next Level beats Converse.
Yeah,
so
it's all on
that's
that.
what you
but-
gotta look out for.
True.
But
That's
the-
why
the
this
one
Friday's match matters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one difference between this Cinderella we found out versus the rest of them is it's completely in Converse's control. There is
Yeah,
no
like,
help
they
needed.
actually manage
You just
it.
have to run. You have to make the run yourself. A very real run. This is the coolest Cinderella story to make playoffs of all of them, and
This
it's
is a
even
cool
cooler
one.
for
Yeah.
me personally because
Like you're forgetting the other biggest Cinderella story that it's also in their control, and they are 100% going to pull it off. I believe in them.
Oh right. Oh yeah. Right. I forgot about Weber.
Where's the
We
best
were-
team? The fourth best team in, I forgot their group. Noxus. No, wait. Yeah, Noxus.
Dude, Pain Shell, if Converse makes the run, Pain Shell and Ego are just like the ACL goats, I guess,
Yeah.
because they've made the run last year with their collegiate team. What was it?
I don't remember the name of the team. I just know.
Why
they
can't
did
I
it,
remember the
and it was
name?
pretty hilarious
I
to
knew it
watch.
when I started this sentence, and now it's left me. But Harrisburg, they were on Harrisburg.
Oh.
Yeah.
okay.
Harrisburg Storm. So, I mean, yeah, that would be crazy if they make playoffs and 2 fall
Imagine.
ACLs in a row off of garbage seeds both times.
It's a miracle runs.
Yeah, then I mean, we just have to like default give Pain Shell and Ego better seeding next year, no matter what randoms they have on their team. Not to call Devin and Phantom Star randoms. I'm down to call Zav a random. He's
well, yeah. I mean, Coach the Jungle Path is a little random, but this team, yeah, you can't call them random. Their team's defined by Devin and Phantom Star. Sorry, guys, but
yeah,
true.
They are the true stars of the team.
Yeah. All right. So, I guess we have to make our predictions.
Calls. Who's making it?
I'll go first because this one hurts me.
Yeah.
So I basically accepted like we're only playing for one spot. Like I know Polestar, CG Glorp are like not necessarily locked yet.
It's doable.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you here, Gordo. I don't think they'll punt it. So ISU 1, CG Glorp 2, Polestar 3, and now's the worst part of the ACL split for me so far because on one hand I spent 10 minutes yelling into a microphone about how peak performers will not miss playoffs. On the other hand, I love Devin and Phantom Star a lot. So like I'm just stuck. I'm just completely stuck right now. I think peak performers are going to do it. I think they'll 2-1 the game against Converse, and it's going to be enough to punch their ticket. And Converse will unfortunately miss. And you can clip this if I'm wrong, but I just peak performers have been getting better and better ever since their rough start. I don't think there's enough in the tank top side for Converse to compete with a team like this.
Yeah. All right, who's going next?
So we talked so much about scenarios here.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I don't think Polestar are gonna punt it, although it'd be very funny to predict Polestar to punt it. It's really not that impossible, guys. I mean, peak performers can get the upset, and then CCG Glorp I don't even think would be an upset. But that aside, ISU Polestar, ISU CCG Glorp second, Polestar third, and here's my concern. No, you know what? I think it'll probably be peak performers. I love Converse. I love the story for them. I just think they're probably going to. I think they're going to drop one of Next Level Esports or peak performers. Those are a couple of close matches back to back. I don't think they're going to be able to put it together. The really funny outcome could be where now peak performers have the head-to-head over Next Level Esports, so never mind, that can't happen. I was going to say the funny world would be where Next Level Esports beats Converse, and then peak performers beats Converse, and then because they both lose to the high seed opponents, they're tied up. They're neck and neck in game record right now. They're both 7 and 6. Yep. But peak performers do crucially have the head-to-head. So if if both teams 2-0 Converse and both teams 0-2 to ISU and Pulse respectively, it would be peak performers moving on. I think peak performers are going to do it. I have them fourth.
But it's all depending on the scores in those matches as well. And I will say, my top three is also defined. It's ISU, Glorp, and Polestar as well. I have Converse though, and I already have them up, hyped them up, and I am on Converse train. I was on Converse train before, and I'm going to stay there. It's weird to support collegiate teams. I have never done that, but it's a year of collegiate teams. It's looking like for me with Weaver and Converse as well, and I think they will pull it off. I think they will win both matches, both against NLE and against Peak.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with TDS on this one. Listen, I think it's gonna be ISU, it's gonna be Glorp, it's gonna be Polestar. I think though that Converse, I really want to see Converse's players in particular succeed. Like obviously no shade toward Peak performers. I think Peak are a really good team. But like at least for me, I think a success win for Converse would be a success win for my boy Devin and my boy Phantom Star. And I feel like those are players that I think they are two of the most underrated bot laners, like in their respective roles, probably in the entire ACL. Like I think Devin is super duper good. I think he's one step away from like a lot of people talking about him. And I think Phantom Star is in a somewhat similar boat. So I want them to win. So I have them put down fourth. I do admit that they are definitely the underdogs over peak performers, but I believe in them. Like I genuinely do. Like they didn't look particularly bad against Polestar when I managed to stream them. Like they put up a fight, and I think that is worth something. I think that's going to be worth something going into these next 2 weeks. I believe in them.
Agreed.
I believe in CeeLo.
We have to do it, Quax. We have to make it happen.
We have
so
to.
that the color supremacy can still be prevalent here.
This
Yeah.
is true. Is this true, Gordo? I forgot we also staked the fact that peak performers wouldn't miss playoffs together as a play-by-play unite scenario.
True.
Kind of funny though that it's not going to be defined by what happens on Tuesday, but more so what happens tomorrow.
Yep.
Or actually on
Right.
Friday, sorry. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm retweeting Alex's
Of
stream
course.
as Supernova
Yeah.
Dark Matter Straw Hat Crew is starting right now.
Ole Miss Polestar update or Pulsing Gooners update, by the way. They are tied 1-1. Ole Miss are
Damn it, Ole Miss.
ahead by a little bit.
Yeah, that's another one of my predictions I need to come through. I need Ole Miss to win here because that's the difference between them being first and not.
Yeah. No, I think it's I think if nothing else, it is shaping up to be a fucking banger playoff season. I don't think
Yep.
we're gonna have a single team from any league, like of all the 16 teams that'll make it. I don't think we'll have a single one where we're like, they don't really deserve to be here. Like I think everyone who makes it is actually gonna be like super solid.
Yep.
So yeah, that makes me super excited.
Agree.
Agree.
I think it's going to be an exciting one. And we'll have another episode for that next week as well. So
Yep,
Yep.
right after the Monday games, and we have everyone figured out.
Absolutely. Race
Yep, the
heating
emotions
up.
will still be fresh and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I mean, if nothing else, tune into the draw show. We'll have more details about the draw show once we have those figured out. But we'll definitely talk about the teams there. We may not even know all the Noxus results when we do the draw show, so we might just like have placeholders. But either way, we will definitely have that, and we will have a pretty good idea of what's going on by the time we record next week. So definitely stay tuned for that. Get excited for this weekend, guys. Games on Friday, games on Monday, maybe even some games in the middle if people end up picking them up. And lots on the line. Some of the best teams we've ever eliminated in the ACL group stage going to be eliminated over the course of this next week. So definitely going to be worth keeping an eye on. And when we get back, we're going to be talking about top 16, and we're going to be talking about playoffs.
Woo!
Woo!
let's go.
Let's go.